فاتحة. السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين. مدد يا رسول الله، مدد يا سادة أصحاب رسول الله، مدد يا مشايخنا دستور مولانا شيخ محمد فاز عصام شيخ محمد عبد الحكام، مدد طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجمعية. Allah Azze ve Celle hadis-i kutsi'de buyuruyor.
Allah Almighty says in the Hadith Qudsi,
Oruç benimdir.
fasting is mine.
Onun mükafatını ben veririm diyor.
I'm the one who will reward the one who fasts, Allah Almighty says.
Allah Azze ve Celle orucun her insan, her Müslüman için üçüncü farzdır.
To fast is the third obligation of all Muslims.
Kelime-i şehadet,
First, it's the kalima shahada.
namaz, ondan sonra oruç.
Then it's to perform salah, perform one's prayers. And third, it's to fast.
Geliyor. Oruç çünkü bu üçü her Müslüman yapabilir.
And these three obligations are requirements which every single Muslim can fulfill and should fulfill.
Onları fakiri de, zengini de,
Whether you're poor or you're rich,
Müslüman olan insan bir kelime-i şehadet getirdikten sonra namaz
every Muslim, as soon as he has declared the kalima shahada, must perform his prayers.
farzdır, oruç farzdır.
And then he must also perform his fast during the holy month of Ramadan. These are his obligations he must fulfill.
Zekat zengine farzdır.
When it comes to zakah, it's an obligation for those who are wealthy.
Fakire farz değil.
It's not an obligation for those who do not have any means or who are poor.
Yani bu farzlar, onun için bu üç tane farz olan ilk üçüdür şehadet, ondan sonra namaz, sonra oruç.
But when it comes to those first three obligations, the kalima shahada, salah, perform one's prayers, and fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, these are three obligations which every Muslim can and must fulfill regardless of their status.
Zekat, hac, onlar parası olan için.
When it comes to performing zakah or performing hajj, these are only possible and are only an obligation for those who have the means to do so.
Bütün Müslümanlar için değil.
It's not an obligation for every single Muslim, and it's not an obligation for those who do not have the means to do so.
Zekatı o parası olmayan tabii ödeyemez.
Somebody who does not have the means or the money cannot pay zakah.
Hac meselesi fakir olsa da Mekke Mükerreme, Medine Münevvere'ye yakın olan insanlar olabilir, fakir de gidebilir.
When it comes to hajj, however, you may be poor, but you may live near the surroundings of the holy cities of Medina and Mecca, and then you may also perform hajj even though you are not wealthy.
Tabii şimdi gidilmez artık, eskisi gibi değil.
But now we live in different times and it's no longer possible to easily access the hajj and to perform the hajj.
Eskiden fakir de gidebiliyordu hac için ama
In former times it was easier for poor people to go to hajj.
zekat olmadığı için onun farzı hiç yok.
But to perform zakah for somebody who does not have the means at all is not obliged to perform zakah.
Ötekisi de farz değil ama yakın olanlar için yolu açık olan için de olabilir hac.
And those who do not have the means or are not wealthy enough to perform hajj, they are too not obliged in these cases to perform hajj. However, if there is an opening or if they live nearby, And if there's a possibility, they may still, of course, perform their Hajj.
Ama bu oruçla namaz her Müslüman için yapması kendisi için faydadır.
But when it comes to fasting and to perform one's prayers, these are obligations which every single Muslim must fulfill and which are to everyone's benefit, own benefit.
Allah Azze ve Celle bizim ne namazımıza, ne orucumuza, ne ibadetimize ihtiyacı var.
Allah Almighty is not in need of neither our praying, nor our worshipping, nor our fasting.
Haşa.
He's not in need at all.
Onu merhametinden, lütfu kereminden
To be able to perform worship, to be able to pray, to fast, these are blessings and divine favors to which Allah Almighty has enabled you to.
bize ihsan etmiş insan oğlu olarak.
And these divine services are divine gifts by Allah Almighty to humanity.
Onları yapıp mertebeniz yükselir.
And it is by performing this worship through praying and fasting that we increase our ranks. And it is Him, Allah Almighty, who made us and who enabled us to do them.
Allah indinde günahlarınız temizlenir.
And worship is the means for us to clean ourselves and purify ourselves for the divine presence.
Hem vücut olarak temizlenir.
And it is through fasting that we will, and through worship that we will clean our bodies.
Hem ruhaniyet olarak
And not only our physical beings, but also our spiritual beings.
Temizlenir. Vücudunuz, zahir vücudu faydası çok büyüktür.
And there are many benefits and blessings for the physical body.
Hem namazın hem orucun
Both praying as well as fasting have countless benefits for the physical being.
onların faydaları insanın vücudu için çok büyüktür.
And there are great benefits and blessings of praying and fasting for the body.
Onları yapan o Allah Azze ve Celle'nin rızasıyla her yaptığı harekette Allah ona verdiği ikramlar, inayetler, rahmetler onun vücudunu kavi kılar.
And it is through the worship during prayer that Allah Almighty, through His grace, His mercy, and His divine endless favors, will give strength to the body for each action that is performed during the prayer.
Güzel, iyi eder.
And through every action during prayer, Allah Almighty will give strength and will make the body healthy.
Ruhunu zaten namaz, niyaz oruç olmadıktan sonra o da bir faydası olmuyor.
And therefore there are benefits for the physical as well as the spiritual being of a human being when one performs worship, when one prays and fasts. And if one does not pray or if one does not fast, there is no benefit for the soul.
Onda ruhaniyette temizleniyor.
And it is through praying and fasting that our spirituality purifies itself.
İçi temizleniyor insanın, hem ruhu hem bedeni.
And praying and fasting are the means for the body and the spirituality to be cleaned.
Temizlenmiş oluyor. Bu büyük bir ikramdır.
Therefore, to pray and to fast are the means to purify oneself, and the acts of worship are divine favors by Allah Almighty to us.
Bize Allah'a şükür nasip ettiğine herkes şükür etmesi lazım ki
And we are thankful, and we must be thankful for these divine favors of being able to perform worship, as these are grants and gifts by Allah Almighty.
Bunda büyük faydalar olduğunu bilmesi lazım.
And we must know there are great virtues and great blessings and benefits in worshipping.
İnsanoğlu. Şimdi işte keşfediyor, yok şöyledi, yok böyledi, yok iyiydi falan.
Now people, they discover so many things that they say doing this, doing that is good.
Ona mühim değil, ona hiçbiri mühim değil. Mühim olan Allah Azze ve Celle'nin rızasıdır.
But what they discover and what they claim to be beneficial, that is not important, because we pray for the sake of Allah Almighty and we perform our worship for obtaining Allah Almighty's pleasure.
Ötekiler de ikramıdır.
And it is the result, and health is a result of our intention, and it is Allah Almighty's reward and divine favor to obtain health.
O rızası bize en mühim şey, onun rızası bizden razı olsun.
What is most important for us is solely to obtain Allah Almighty's satisfaction and to make Him, Allah Almighty, be pleased with us. That is what we seek.
O verdiği ikramlara da şükrederiz Allah Azze ve Celle'nin.
And we are thankful and endlessly appreciate all the divine favors Allah Almighty bestows upon us.
Allah daim etsin.
May Allah Almighty make us be steadfast and make us to persevere on this way.
Sabit kadem kılsın. İnsanlara da, bilmeyenlere de hidayet versin. Onlara
And may Allah Almighty guide those who do not know yet.
da nasip etsin inşallah. Ve minallah tevfik. El Fatiha.